Dear students, good afternoon. In this webinar, it is a session for you for the exam so that we try to help you do well, and we hope God will be with you and you will do well in your exams. At the beginning, allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ula Al-Moui, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate.
Hello.
Ms. Rula Bitar, English Language Teacher, Latakia Directorate.
Hello.
Mr. Nazir Suwan, Planning and International Commission, Cooperation Commission, English Language Training Center. Ms. Sana Ismail, English Language Teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate.
Thank you.
At the beginning, before we start with the exam paper, we're going to do one sample of exam paper which was given last year. We are going to advise you for your exam to be relaxed, and Ms. Ula is going to tell you about the exam book and how you are going to write only the answers. Ms. Ula, please, your advice at the beginning.
Okay, about the exam book, it's going to be numbered, so they have to pay attention to the numbers and write the exact answer that suits the number. So that's the one thing they have to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. And they have a place for the composition as well. It's written as composition to write the paragraph there. And again, they have to pay attention to that. That's in general. Nothing else to be said.
What if a student made a mistake?
It's okay.
And he needed to write it in another place.
Okay, we have extra space. That's for nothing. They have just to mention the number of the...
he needs to write the number.
The exact number, and they have to pay attention, the number of the exercise, and everything is going to be corrected. They don't need to be worried about anything else.
Mm-hmm. We're going now to start immediately with an exam sample. This was last year's exam. It was in Idlib Directorate. We chose it randomly. We didn't take it on purpose. They are the same level. All directorates have the same exam, but as we know, in every directorate we have exam paper especially for that directorate. Today we're going to do this one. We start with the first page. It is a paragraph and we have questions. We usually ask the students to read the questions before they read the text so that they know what they are going to.
And I've heard some feedbacks about the baccalaureate webinar, and they did well by doing that. When they started reading the questions before and then they've read the text, it was good for them.
Yes. Thank you. Ms. Ula, please.
Okay, the first one is going to be a text from the student's book. Most probably, read the following text, then do the tasks below. Here in this text, we're going to have types of questions that are multi-choices, alternatives. We're going to have 3 alternatives, and they have to choose the first one. We can read it. Choose the right answer, A, B, or C, to complete the following.
Can we go up, Mr. Manhal, a little to see the questions, just so that the students see the questions? Yeah, so we have
3 sentences that they need to fill with 3 choices. So they need to read the sentence carefully because it's reading comprehension. They're not going to find the exact words in the text. And then we have the next one, choose 2 of the underlined words in the text to suit their definitions below. In the text we have 3 underlined words, and below we have 2 kind of definitions, synonyms, different meanings.
Students need to specify
specify 2 words from the underlined ones in the text.
Ms. Rula, please read question number 1.
Yes. Choose the right answer, A, B, or C, to complete the following. Number 1, every year 10 million children die because of water.
Water. Is it salty water or dirty water or fresh water? The student now needs, when he goes up to the text, to find which word is the correct.
Yes.
Number 2.
Number 2, water is space for drinking and doing a lot of things. Important or unless or unnecessary.
Useless or unnecessary. Important, useless or unnecessary.
Sorry.
Okay.
3, women and girls in developing countries spend their time, number A, working to improve,
Letter A, working to improve their lives.
to improve
Letter
their
B,
lives, B, taking water to their families, C, digging wells to sell water.
Okay, let's go down, Mr. Nassour, again, and Miss Ula is going to read the
read.
text. Go down, please, not up, down, down. Yeah, thank you. Start, Miss
Yes.
Ula, reading the text.
Now we're going to read the text and then we can do the tasks below. Water isn't only necessary for drinking, but also for cooking, washing, growing food, making things, and caring for animals. There is a lot of water in the world, but unfortunately, most of it is seawater, which isn't drinkable. Most fresh water is in the form of ice, so we have to look after the remaining water carefully. In developing countries, women and girls waste time carrying water instead of working to improve their lives.
So, women and girls waste time carrying water instead of working to improve their lives. From here we can find the answer
answers,
to
of
a
course.
question, but continue, please.
Women also suffer because they need clean water when they are pregnant or looking after young babies. Diseases carried in water kill up to 10 million children a year.
Thank you. Now let's go down, sorry, Mr. Nassour, to see the questions. Every year, 10 million children die because of salty or dirty or fresh.
Of course, they have just to think. It's clear without even reading the
it's
text.
clear.
It's, of course, dirty water because it's undrinkable.
Yes, because it causes disease.
Thank you for saying this, but the student needs to read it.
Of course, they need
Yeah,
it.
he can logically. It means kind of weakness of the exam paper. Anyway,
Sorry to say that.
anyway, dirty water is the choice for exercise number 1.
Yes.
Miss Sana, please read question number 2.
Question number 2. Water is important, useless, or unnecessary? The answer is important for drinking and doing a lot of things.
Yeah, again, someone may say we have useless and unnecessary are negative, and the
Same
only
meaning.
positive word
Yes,
important,
both words
so
have the
without
same
reading we
meaning.
can
Yes.
do it, okay? If a student is smart enough to do it this
Well,
way,
we are dealing with ninth
good.
grade, so
Yeah,
they need
good,
to think.
Good.
Yes.
Number 3, Mr. Nazir
Yes.
Sulwan.
Okay. Number 3, women and girls in developing countries spend their time A, working to improve their lives, B, taking water to their families, C, digging wells to sell water. So the answer is taking water to their
B.
families.
Letter
Because
B.
they're
yes.
wasting time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the student can
because-
write either letter B
Yes.
or the answer taking water to their families, or both, B, taking water to their families. Now we move to the following question, which is finding the meaning
Definitions.
of definitions of the underlying words. Number 4, illnesses,
Diseases,
Yes.
diseases, and
Number
Unlucky.
5,
unluckily, unfortunately.
unfortunately. Yes.
Let's
And
go
there's
up
extra word.
just a little to read the questions. Mr. Nassour, just a little to read the questions. Yeah, okay. So here in the second text, Miss Sana try to help the students read questions 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, first of all, before reading the text, students should
So
read the question.
the aim is
Yes,
to
the
write
aim is
true or false.
Yes,
Yes.
so put or tick true or false next to the sentence.
So
Number 6.
Can the student put a tick or a cross or only to write T or F?
The same.
Yeah,
They
can.
Yes, he can.
Can tick or cross or can write right, wrong,
acceptable, yes.
whatever he likes.
Hallmark.
So, but we need to know that this is true or false.
false.
So
correct
the
or-
easiest one, just only to write T
Yes.
or
Tick or X.
F. Yes.
Number 6. Palmyra is famous for its old arcs.
Arches.
Yes.
Palmyra is famous for its old
Or
arches.
arches,
We're going
or
to see
arcs.
if this is correct or not correct from the text.
Yeah, number 7.
Mr. Nazir, read number 7, please.
Yes. Okay. They visited the temple of Bel the moment they reached Palmyra.
They visited the temple of Bel the moment they reached Palmyra. It means
Is it
immediately.
false?
Was
Yes.
it immediately or in
Before
another
or
time?
after?
We're going to see when we read 6. Miss Rula, read number 8.
The Arab castle was built down the hill.
The Arab castle was built down the hill. Is it down or beside or on? We're going to see it from the text.
Yes.
Then we have 2 questions. Ms. Ula, you're going to read them, please.
Okay,
9
answer
and
the
10.
following questions. Why did the class visit Palmyra? Where is Palmyra located? And of course, they have to give a full answer
Yeah, of
for
course.
these questions.
Now let's go up, Mr. Nassour, please, so that Mr. Nazir can, if you help us to read the text.
Okay, many thanks, Mr. Majid. Read the following text, then do the tasks below. About a month ago, our class decided to go on a school trip to see the ancient ruins in Palmyra. Because we were studying the history of this city and its old arcs in our history book. Palmyra is in the middle of Syria, and it takes 2 hours from Damascus to reach there. As we were coming nearer, we first saw the shadow of the Arab castle on the hill above the 2 lines of the huge columns. The next day, as we were walking around, we came to the wonderful ruins of the Temple of Bel. There, we met lots of tourists admiring this fascinating place.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr.
So,
Suwan.
sorry to interrupt, Mr. Majid. Someone is asking if the texts are from the book. So we can answer that. In general, they are from the book, but there might be some changes.
Now, usually they come from the books. Either the
I mean, some
activity-
sentences or some names, for example.
Names can be changed sometimes, but mostly it is like in the book. Sometimes we need to take out, we extract some parts, we delete some parts, but in the end, it is from the student's book. Until now, we didn't take this step to bring something from out the book. So it is from the books.
Yes.
But once it was from the exercises, there was an exercise that was a text,
Yes.
and we had it as a text.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's from the book in general.
Yes.
It's from the book.
Yes.
Question number 1, Miss Rula, read it, please. Palmyra is famous for.
Palmyra is famous for its old arches.
Yes.
True.
True.
It's
Because
true.
we read this in the first 4 lines. Miss Sana, number 7.
Number 7, they visited the Temple of Bel the moment they reached Palmyra. False.
Was it the moment they
No, no,
reached
not the same.
No, the next
Palmyra?
day.
It
The
was the
next
next
day.
day. So this is false. Mr. Suwan, number
The Arab
6.
castle was built down the hill. So this is false. It is not down. It is
on
on
the
the
hill.
hill above the 2 lines of a huge columns. It is on the hill,
On the
not
hill.
down the hill.
Castles were on the hill.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, for sure.
The following question, number 9, Miss Ula.
Why did the class visit Palmyra? Well, it can be long or short. The answer is about a month, blah, blah, blah.
To see-
It's trip
to see.
to see.
Yeah,
We
to
can
see,
start here.
yes.
To see the ancient ruins in Palmyra because they were studying the history of this city and its old arcs in their history books. Or we can say just maybe it's to see the ancient ruins in Palmyra. I think it's
Actually,
good.
the full answer is student writes, they visited Palmyra because they wanted to see the old city and its arches.
Okay.
This is the full answer. If the student writes only to see the old city and its arches, the ruins of Palmyra, any logical answer is accepted, but we usually ask the student
For
to
the
be
whole
on the
answer.
safe side and to write the whole sentence. Where is Palmyra located? It is written in the middle of the
The
text.
middle of
So
Syria.
it's in the middle of Syria.
Do they have to write and it takes 2 hours from Damascus to reach there?
If they add it, it is better.
Okay, but
But
they get the whole mark.
If they put it is located in the middle of Syria, as it is written in the text, it is accepted. But we advise the students not to write extra information that are not needed, because more than 1 sentence extra, the whole sentence may get
Exactly.
0.
Especially if
Then
it's not
so
related.
So keep to the sentence in the answer. Keep to the answer, like in the text. Don't add, because some students try to write half of the text.
Yes. Or maybe they can start with just only to write in the middle of Syria.
Yeah, in the middle of Syria is
It
accepted.
is accepted, yes.
Let's move to the second page, Mr. Nassour. The second page actually is about functional words. We start with Miss Rula. Read the following
Read the following
sentences.
sentences and choose the correct answer. Number 11, Samira told or said Ali that she was sorry.
Here,
Here
a
we
student needs to know
to
that
choose between told and said.
needs an
Told
object.
needs, yes, told
Here
needs
the
an
speech,
object.
The speech here is directed to someone.
Yes,
so
exactly.
we choose
Told
So
someone, so he-
usually said is not
Followed
followed
by
with an object,
Yes.
but told needs an
Needs an
object. And
object.
here we have the object Ali, so it should be
told.
told Ali. Samira told Ali
Ali.
that she was sorry. This is report speech. Mr. Sulwan, number
Yes, number 12. There is too many, too much pollution in the city. Too much is correct because pollution is uncountable
Uncountable.
noun. Yes, so the student
and
should
it
use.
takes too much.
Yes,
because
should this-
too much is used with singular or uncountable.
Yes.
Yeah. Miss Rula, number
13.
13.
Mr. Hamad, who is here for business, came for dinner last night. Mr. Hamad, we use who for
Here we
people.
have relative pronouns. We have
he-
which for things and who for people.
Yes, and here we have a person, so we have to choose who.
Who? So Mr. Hamad, who is here for
For
business,
came for dinner last night.
Miss Ula,
Number 14. The telephone was invented or typed by Alexander Graham Bell. So the telephone cannot be typed.
course.
So it's invented. And this is passive voice, of
and
course.
this is a fact. We all know that Alexander Bell who
Invented.
was the
Invented
one who
the telephone.
invented the telephone. Thank you.
Someone is asking about the tenses, and I believe we're going to say something about that.
Present,
Present, perfect, simple.
perfect, simple, present, perfect, continuous.
continuous.
We're going, you can give a brief idea if you like, but we are going to explain it in detail, but you can.
Okay, with the simple, when we are talking about something that started in the past and continued to the present, and it's finished and it didn't take time. With the continuous, we need a period of time. Sometimes we use all, for example, all morning. So we have, this is some way, with the simple, for example, we can use yet, already, just. These are mentioned in the ninth grade. With the continuous, we can say all, like I've said, all morning, all afternoon.
Yeah.
In general.
Actually, the simple perfect tense, present perfect simple, is used same like simple past. The difference between the present perfect simple and the simple past is we don't know the time in the present perfect.
There is no reference to the past.
No time reference. So we use the present perfect simple when something happened in the past and we see a result now. We have keywords like already,
Just.
almost,
Yet.
and yet. The present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous are the same when we use since and for. So when we have since or for in the sentence, both the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous are accepted. Except, as Ms. Ola said, sometimes a student may see a hint like all morning
It
or
needs
all
time, a
week,
period of time.
which is the focus is on the duration, not on the finished action. So here it's better to use the present perfect continuous, but using the present perfect simple is not wrong, because with since and for both are accepted. We're going to explain it in details after we finish the exam sample. So let's complete from where we stopped.
We are with the exercise number D. Choose the correct answer, A, B, C, or C, to complete the
Yes.
following dialogue. This is
Here,
a dialogue.
Dialogue,
Functional words, most
functional
probably.
words.
We have Maher and
We
Karam.
mean with functional words that we are not going to use nouns, main verbs. We're going our adjectives. We're going to use question words, relative pronouns,
Prepositions.
or subject pronouns, prepositions.
Articles.
Articles can be used. Possessive adjectives, possessive pronouns.
That
Yes.
words that have function.
Yes.
Okay, to start with Maher, do you usually do after school? So here we need a question word. What do you usually do? This is the correct answer. We can think, where do you usually do? We cannot use where and do. Where do you usually do?
Yes, because
when with do, again,
But
it's
there is
not
no
working.
when we need time,
It does not work.
where we need a place. Here he is asking about an action, so it is what?
It's what?
What do you usually do after school? Mr. Sulwan?
Yes, Kareem, 16. I usually have my lunch before I study. So you have, we have here three choices: me, mine. So it is mine because it is preceded by there's a noun lunch.
Yeah, because mine is possessive pronoun. It is
pronoun.
not followed with a noun.
Yes,
And me is an object pronoun. It's not okay to be used here.
does not
So the
work.
only correct choice is my
Is my lunch.
lunch. Miss Sana,
It's
number 16.
number 16 or 17? 17.
17.
Yes. Maher, when, have, or do, or are you start studying? Now here we have to choose the auxiliary verb. We look first at the verb, which is start. Start in the simple past. So we choose do. Because have needs...
Is it start
Infinitive.
in the simple past?
Infinitive.
It is infinitive.
Base
It is
form.
infinitive, yes.
It is infinitive. And with infinitive, we use
do.
do,
Yes.
does, or
Or
did.
did, yes.
And since we don't have did here, and we don't have does, because have needs verb 3,
Verb 3.
and are needs verb
ing.
ing,
Yes.
so the only choice is
Is
do,
do.
with the infinitive. Thank you.
18.
Ms. Rula?
Karam, I start studying to, on, or at 5 o'clock. With time, we can use at.
Yeah, with the
At-
clock, we
Yes,
use
with the time.
at usually.
Yes.
And last session, we explained about the use of prepositions. We may say about them something now. We move to the following question, exercise E, Miss
Okay,
Ula.
now we have to write the missing word in each space. We have to look for clues, for hints.
Yes.
For example, number 19, she hasn't drunk her tea, and we have a space. Now we have present perfect, and it's in the negative.
Present
So the
perfect
first
in the
thing to
negative.
think about is yet,
Yeah.
because it's negative. She hasn't drunk her tea yet.
Since it is present perfect and in the negative, so it is clear that the missing word is yet.
Yet.
Miss Sana, number 20, the theater.
Yes, the theater in would the city center
In
is
the
very-
city
in the
center,
city
yes.
center is very old.
Yes. Usually, the city center is one.
Only one city center.
In a city,
In a
so
city,
it is
so it's
usually
the
defined and should be preceded with the in the city
Definite
center. Miss Rula, number 21.
21. If I were you, I try to be a better friend. Here
Is it
we have second conditional.
Second conditional
Yes.
sentence.
We have where. So we have in the in the second part, we have to write would and the infinitive of the verb.
So usually this is how we teach our students.
As soon as we see if.
When we
so
see if, it is
it's
conditional
conditional,
sentence.
so-
When it is followed with simple past, we continue using would. If it is present, we continue using will. And if it is past perfect, and they don't have past perfect in grade 9, so if I were, I would try. So the missing word is would.
Okay.
We-
Someone is asking about the passive. We're going to talk about the passive, but someone else is asking if we have to correct the sentences, the wrong sentences, maybe with the texts. We don't need to correct the
No,
sentences.
we don't need in the exam, don't try
True,
to correct.
false
There is no
only.
correction.
Put true or false. Yeah,
True or
thank you.
false.
Thank you. Actually, you can see better the panel
Yes, it's okay.
where you can read.
It's okay.
I'm not looking that
I
direction,
know.
so you can help us. Exercise E, Mr. Sulwan, it is completion.
It's complete, yes. Exercise F. Complete each item in column A with the correct choice from column B. It is allotted 40 marks. 22. I can't understand this book. It means you have
The student can try all the choices.
All the choices. Then
I
he has
can't
to,
understand this book. Would become dangerous? Of course not. Now there is
because something related to the book, which
Yes.
is a language. So the
language
choice, the
is
language is so
so
difficult.
difficult.
It
So
is the
the-
better choice.
the completion is
Yes.
the language is so
D.
difficult. Miss Sana,
Okay, number 23. Your eyes are red. The answer is Letter E, have you been crying?
Have you been crying? Exactly. Again, if the student is not sure, he can try all the completions.
And they can
And
think
in
it's a result in the present for something,
Yes.
so they can look for the
And
present perfect.
we assure the students that only one completion is accepted, and we have extra one, which cannot fit with any beginning of these exercises. Ms. Rula,
Number 24, without laws, many cities, the answer is letter A, would become dangerous. So,
actually, this is conditional sentence type 2, but I don't
Imagine-
think that
imaginary
they
situation.
took it as grade 9. Without laws, many cities would become dangerous. Thank you. Ms. Ula.
The last one, 25, I think the fruit in the past used to. We are talking about something in the past, so we can, and we are talking about fruit, sorry. So it's C, tastes better than nowadays.
Yeah,
In the
it is
past
true,
and nowadays, it's
and we have
comparison.
taste.
we have taste.
Okay, but about sorry to interrupt, about the connecting or match, someone is asking where they can find them or where to teach them. They can be from anywhere. There is
Yes,
no
yes,
one,
yes.
one
Maybe let's say
place
from
to
the
study.
exercises or from the
From
texts.
the whole book.
They,
And
can,
this-
they just need to understand.
Yes,
Exactly.
this
So it
is
depends.
comprehension. If the student understands the meaning of the words, he can easily complete.
Yes.
But if he cannot, he is going to guess.
They're usually easy. They're not difficult
Yeah,
to
they're not
exactly.
difficult.
guess.
Can we go up again, Mr. Nassour, our great director? Well, G, Ms. Rula, choose the
choose
correct
the
tense.
correct tense between brackets.
So this is about tenses.
Yes. Number 26. He buys or bought a new car 2 years ago. Here we have this indicator ago.
Ago.
So they have to choose both. The past of buy.
Ago is a
Simple
key
past.
word for the simple past tense. And we have buys in the present and we have bought in the
In the
past.
past.
So the correct answer is
Is
bought.
bought.
Yes.
He bought a new car 2 years
Right.
ago. Mr. Suwan,
At 27, the wind has been blowing or blows since 4 o'clock in the morning. Because of the keyword which is since, so the answer is has been blowing.
yes, as we talked a
Yes, we
little
have already talked
while
about
before,
how to use the present perfect continuous.
since usually it is used with the present perfect or perfect continuous. And
Yes.
here we have perfect continuous, so of course it's not the simple one, the present simple, it is the perfect. Has been blowing since 4 o'clock in the morning. And here it is a continuous action, it is not a finished action. Miss Sana, number 28,
Yes, number 28. The film has started or has started.
has or had
Has or
started.
had when I arrived. Here we have one action happened after the another
Actually,
one.
the rest, Miss Sana, is when I arrived.
Yes,
It
so-
is
Past.
in the past.
In the
Yes.
past.
So we don't have any connection with the present.
So
From
we
here-
should use had
Had-
past perfect
had started.
Yes.
Had started because has cannot
It's not
go
working
with
here.
I
With the
arrived.
The film started before we arrived.
started,
Yes.
not stirred. Here
Oh,
we have
Okay, stirred
Oh
and
yeah,
started.
there is a
it
mistake.
a printing mistake. Yeah, a printing mistake. Yeah,
okay.
this happens. Number Miss
29.
Ula,
Okay, she is reading or was reading a story right now.
right now.
And again, with every sentence, we have a hint or we have something to indicate. Right now, it means now, at the moment, present. So it is reading. She
Yes.
is reading a story now, at the
Exactly.
moment of speaking.
So we advise the students to look at the keywords, to the hint, to the indicator.
For the ninth grade, it's very easy because they have two choices and it has to be one.
Yeah.
And we have it an indicator, so.
Yeah.
So
by
now,
the way, yes. By
now
the way, I'm so
means
sorry.
present continuous, and here we have present and past. Since it is now, of course, it's not in the past. Is reading is the answer. Mr. Suwan,
Yes.
number 30.
30. Today, millions of mobile phones calls were made every second. Because today and every second, so the students should choose are made.
Today, yeah.
Today.
Today means not in the past,
Yes.
so are made.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So by the way, Mr. Majid,
Yes.
just only give advice here for my students. Concerning this exercise, they should read the whole sentence here.
Of course.
Because once they find a key to the answer
Of course.
from the first sentence,
Might be the last word.
Yes, maybe the last word is a key to the correct sentence
Yeah.
or the correct answer.
They need, before they take a decision,
Exactly.
they need to read the whole sentence and to check the exact tense, then to choose. Thank you very much. Thank you. We move to the dialogue, to the conversation. Some students find it a bit difficult, but it is actually very easy, and we can help them. We read the answer, and from the answer, we use the same auxiliary used. If we don't have an auxiliary, we would use in the present do or does, and in the past did.
Keeping in mind that it's a dialogue.
Yeah.
They keep in mind
Yes.
this is a dialogue. They
So
cannot answer the
it should be
one question.
coherent.
Of course,
Yes.
and related
Not
to the
to-
sentence before and after.
Exactly. Mr. Ala.
Okay, to start with, complete the following dialogues, write the questions. We have Mark and Tony. They are speaking about something. Let's see what it is. I am waiting for my friend Maher.
Yes.
So here, Mark is going to ask Tony about what he's waiting for or what he's doing. So the question is going to be, we have an auxiliary, so we invert. I am, it becomes are you. So
yes.
what are you doing? Or who are you waiting for?
Exactly, yes.
What are you doing can go with a lot of questions that ask about what you are doing, and this is one of them. So the question can be, what are you doing, or who are you waiting? It can be simply, what are you doing here?
Of course.
I'm waiting for my friend Maher. So any logical question is accepted.
Yes.
The following one, Mr. Sulan.
Yes. Mark, Tony also. Tony says, we are going to the library. Mark should ask, where are you going? Because there is we are here, so there must be a shift here between are and we.
So
yes,
if the
where are you
student is
the
going
library?
to write the exact question,
Yes.
where are you going?
Going.
It could be, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Or any logical question that asks about the action.
Yes.
But the easiest way is,
Because of
since
the
it is
place.
we're going to the library, are you going to the library? Or where are you going?
Where are you going?
Sorry, I forgot. We need WH question.
Questions, because
So
not,
are you going to the library is not correct.
it's not, because there is
We
no
need
yes
where
to
are
questions.
you going? Where
Exactly.
are you going to go?
Yes.
Where are you going to go? Or
What
what
are you doing?
going to do?
What are you doing?
What
It's
are
present
you,
continuous.
what
are
are you
you
doing
doing?
if he is here? But since he is not still here, he is not arrived yet. So what are you going to do
Okay.
is better. What are you going to do? Or where are you going to go? Both are accepted. Then we have because, and because usually is
Comes
with
Why?
Yes.
Miss Sana.
Okay, Tony says, because our teacher asked us to write a report about all paintings. Here we have to use why with because. Why are you going to the library? And the completion, we infer it from the previous question. Why are you going to the library?
Yes, why are you going to the library? Or why are you going there?
Okay.
If the student put there instead of the library, it's
Is
okay.
accepted.
Why are you going there? Because our teacher asked us to. The following part is a question, and the student needs
To answer.
to write
Answers.
a sentence. Subject
Not
and a
only a
verb
word.
at least. One word is not accepted. 3 words at least, and it should have a subject,
Subject,
and
a verb, and the completion.
Ms. Rula.
The first one, Rama, what's your favorite sport? Hint. She should answer, my favorite sport is,
Yes.
and she may say, my favorite sport is tennis or football, etc.
Tennis, football, anything, yes. Miss-
Rama, how often do you practice it? How often?
How often asks about repetition?
Yes.
How many
How
times?
often do you practice it? I practice it twice a week, 3 times.
Exactly.
Every day.
Every day.
They have to pay attention to the time
Yeah.
here.
But
the
Mr.
same-
Ma-
Someone may say, if the student wrote every day, it is correct, but we advise the student to write, I practice it, to write a sentence, not just the word
To
now.
stay in the safe zone.
Yeah, yeah.
so if the student write every day, is it accepted?
We're not sure.
Okay,
This
it's,
depends on the grading scale.
So to
Yes.
stay
So
in the safe
we
zone.
advise now the students to be always on the safe side.
To write a full
Write
answer.
a full answer, which is, I practice it on Mondays, or every day, or after school, to write a full sentence.
To make sure that they're going to get the marks. So
Yes.
Can we move Mr. Nassour to the last question, which is the composition? Here we have
Yes.
two compositions,
Optional.
but the student needs to write only
only
one.
one. If they write two, they're going to be, they're going to correct the first one.
Yes, usually the corrector is going to correct the first one, and maybe the second is better. So we advise the students not to write two compositions. Write the one that you find yourself good at writing it. In this sample, it was your reasons either for or against the following statement. Reading newspapers is better than reading news on the internet. Actually, they have all these compositions in the book after the writing section, and the students need, from the beginning of the year, to train themselves on writing, and teachers usually help them to do it. In one day, they cannot,
Of course, the
Do.
whole year they need to do that. the
but
whole-
they can do the previous questions. This exercise needs a talent and needs the students to be ready to do it at the exam. Let's, Mr. Nassour,
Just
move.
I need to say something because one of the students was asking about the how many words. It's
Yes,
it's
it is
written in
important.
here.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Yes.
Okay, some is asking about how many words, and it's written, write a 50-word composition, so it's about 50 words, about 5 lines.
5 lines, yes.
Okay, and someone is asking for the scale, about the paragraph, about the composition. I'm not sure if we can say something about it.
Yes, we're not going to reveal a secret, but usually, since it is written 50 words, of course 49, you are not going to lose marks for 49. More than 50, you're not going to lose marks. But it's a good way. If I was a student, I would count the words.
Yeah, it's better.
1, 2, 3, 4. When I reach 50, it's enough. I stop. Because less than 50, you may lose
They
marks.
lose marks.
And more than 50, you may not lose, but you may be judged for spelling and grammar mistakes. So you
They-
may lose
they may
marks,
make
not for the addition, but for the mistakes, if the student has any mistakes in grammar or in spelling. So to keep counting the words until you reach 50 words, then. And usually the composition is divided into columns, groups. We have task response,
Grammar,
10 marks for the task response, and we have vocabulary, the use of vocabulary, 10 marks
Spelling.
again. We have spelling,
Grammar.
we have grammar, and we have punctuation.
Punctuation.
So the student needs to write a full stop after the end of a sentence,
Capital
comma,
letter at the beginning.
and to start a new sentence
With
using
a capital.
capital letter,
Yes.
he will gain marks using the punctuation. It's very important. Grammar and spelling are the most dangerous issues in the composition, because if the composition was related to the question, to the topic, he gets 10 marks immediately before the composition being corrected. Then, using the punctuation, the student gets 10 marks again if he used punctuation correctly,
Capital
even if he
letters,
had
yes.
mistakes, grammatically or spelling mistakes. Then the use of the vocabs. If he used plain, simple, clear vocabs, he get 10 marks. So now he took 30 out of 50 just for the full stop and comma, and for the capital letter, and for the task response, and for the use of the words.
Great.
So he easily can get 30 out of 50. Then we come to grammar mistakes and to spelling mistakes. One mistake, 1 mark will be deducted for a grammar mistake and 1 mark for a spelling mistake, but the total deduction will
Should
not
not
exceed
exceed.
10 marks for grammar. Even we had 20 grammar mistakes, no more than 10 marks will be deducted. And if we had 30 grammar mistakes, only 10 marks will be deducted from the spelling part. So the students can write and get marks easily, but those who want to get full mark, they need to be good enough to get the full mark. Other questions to answer before we
About the
move?
tenses, we can work about the
Yeah,
tenses.
let's go to the PowerPoint presentation about the grammar of the grade 10.
That's not word.
In the last session, we explained about the grammar, we explained about passive voice, we explained about wish, and we're going to explain them in another way. Let's move to the next page, grade 9, sorry. Miss Ula,
Yeah, that we can read them.
you can read and we together discuss, and if we have any advice to give the students, we can give.
Okay, to start with, a general idea about using the present and the past tenses. Use the present simple to talk about routines and habits.
So the
when-
present simple tense is used with habits and routine
routines.
verbs. Yes.
He always goes skiing in winter.
So we have frequency adverbs usually used with the present
Always,
simple.
sometimes,
Always,
usually,
often, sometimes, often, never,
never.
seldom, generally. Any adverb that shows frequency,
And routines
it
and habits.
goes with the present simple
Present
tense.
simple. We use the simple past or past simple to talk about finished events in the past. So it's finished.
So
it's not
the
related to the
action
present.
is finished in the past, but we need to have time reference.
Time reference like ago, yesterday, last year, last
Yes.
week.
So
Any reference
last
that
plus
indicates the
time,
past.
Last plus time. Yesterday. Yesterday could be yesterday evening, yesterday
Morning, yesterday afternoon.
etc. But we don't say yesterday night. We say
No,
last night.
last night.
And we don't say last morning.
Of course not.
We say yesterday morning.
Here in
he
this
moved-
example, he moved to Canada when he was 5. When he was 5, it indicates the past.
Yes, this is the reference.
Exactly.
So someone
Even-
may say, here we don't have ago, we don't have yesterday, we don't have last. So the simple past sentence, when he was 5, is the time reference.
It's like we say, for example, in 2002.
Yes.
It's
in
the same.
2002
Yes.
is reference for the time in the past.
We use the present continuous and past continuous to talk about something that is or was in progress at the time of speaking. So it's in progress. When something is in progress, it's continuous. And we have to decide if it's present continuous or past continuous. Like, I'm studying for my exam this week. So this week, it
This
has to be
week.
I am studying
Shows that the action is in the
in
present.
progress. The last time I heard from her, she was working in Canada. So I heard about her, so it's in the past, and it was in progress, so she was working.
So the
Yes.
last time I heard is past. So the following should be
In the past,
in the
and it's
past.
in progress, so past continuous.
Yes.
And
She was
again, we have
working
to
in the
mention
ninth.
that the tenses with the ninth grade is between brackets. So they have to choose between two.
And
It
as
must
we
be clear.
explained, it's very easy to answer. Next, Mr. Nassour. Here we have an exercise. Ms. Rula,
Number 1, Nasser, his bike when he off. We have ride.
two actions,
We have two
riding and falling. And it's
No.
clear that one happened and one interrupted
Yes.
the other that was happening.
The action that happened first, Nasser was riding
Was
his bike,
riding
his
the bike.
bike when he fell off.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Number 2, Ms. Sana.
Okay, number 2. I was waiting for the bus when it started to rain.
Again,
Here
two
we have
actions.
Two actions. One of them was happening in the bus, then another one interrupted it.
Okay. Number 3, Mr. Suwan.
Yes,
About
I
my
was
English
yes,
homework.
I was thinking about my English homework when I had an idea for a story. There are two actions here. So action, the first one in the past continuous and the second one in the past simple. So I was
Just-
thinking about
Okay. I just want to clarify something.
Yes.
This is not an exam sample. In the
No,
exam,
these are examples
in the
from the
exam,
book.
These are examples from the book, and we are helping them to do them like they took them in the book. But in the exam, they will find two choices
brackets.
to choose only one of them. So it is easier in the
Easy,
exam
much
sample.
easier.
And usually, we train people, if they are going to have a competition for 1 kilometer, we train them to run 3 kilometers.
Yes, exactly.
For that. So this is more difficult,
So that they can
but
get
it will
prepared.
be easier in the exam. Number 4. Ms.
Number
Saula.
4, I was lying in bed when I heard a noise downstairs. So something was in progress. I was lying in bed, and while I was lying in bed, I heard a noise.
Again, we have
Exactly.
interruption in the past, 2
And again-
actions, one interrupted the other. Thank you.
Just one is asking about the timing in the exam. It's 1 hour and a half.
1 hour and a half, yes. Ms.
Number
Saula,
5.
Number 5.
I was having dinner when the phone rang.
Again, interruption. The first was happening is having dinner. The phone ringing interrupted, so we put the one that interrupted in the simple past and the one that was happening at the beginning, or the one that was in
continuous.
progress in the past continuous.
Past continuous,
Next, lady, please. Here we have the answers. We answer them. Students can have a look at them. Nasser was riding his bike when he fell off. I was waiting for the bus when it started to rain. I was thinking about my English homework when I had an idea for a story. Number 4, I was lying in bed when I heard a noise downstairs. I was having dinner when the phone rang. Next, please, lady.
It's about the
Okay,
present
okay.
perfect.
The present perfect. Please, Ms. Ala.
Okay. The present perfect. We use the present perfect with indicators like just, already, and yet. Use the present perfect with the just to say that something has been completed very recently. So when we say that something is completed recently, we use just. Like this example, I've just finished reading this book. It means like about 2 minutes ago, for example, or 5
Yes.
minutes ago. It's recently. So use the present perfect with already to say that something has been completed in the present or past. For example, I've already read this book, or I've read this book already. We
So
can use
already
it.
can be at the end of the sentence or after verb to have. Yeah, it's okay.
About yet, to say that something hasn't been completed by the time of speaking, like we had examples in the missing words, like I haven't read it yet. So it's by the
Yes.
end of the sentence. But I
Actually-
will read it soon.
Yet is used with questions and with negatives. Next, Miss, please. Present perfect
Yes.
or past. Mr. Sulwa.
They use here the present perfect or past simple. Use the present perfect to talk about events in the recent past
Events in
Yes.
the recent past.
When no specific time is mentioned.
So as I said, the
yes.
difference between the present perfect simple and the
Yes.
simple past is we don't have time reference in the present perfect tense. When we have time reference, it is the simple
It's
past.
past.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
It is one of the recent news, we say. Yes. Like example here, I have cut my finger.
I have cut my finger. We don't know when.
We know it's not important for somebody to know
The
when.
action is
yes.
more important than-
Yes, exactly. The time is not important here. Have you been to the dentist during the last 6 months?
Have
This
you
is a
been?
question. Yes.
No,
Have you
the,
been?
the use of been here means go and come back.
Yes. Yes. This the difference between go and been.
Yeah, we usually
Like when we
explain.
say somebody has gone to Beirut or somebody has been to Beirut.
So
The
he's
first
in Beirut
example
now.
here, yes, somebody has gone to Beirut, it means that he is in Beirut and he is still in Beirut.
Hasn't
But when we
returned.
say, yes, when we say somebody has been to Beirut, it means that he went to Beirut and now he comes back to Damascus and now he is still in Damascus.
So it is wrong to ask someone who is in front of you, have you gone to Beirut?
For sure, no.
Next
Yes.
lady, please. Miss Rula. Past
Past
simple,
simple or
perfect?
past perfect. We use the past simple to describe something that happened in the past. We use the past perfect to describe something that happened before that time. Here we have two actions happened in the past, and to show which one happened first, we
Exactly.
use the past perfect.
Exactly,
So
yes.
the past perfect and the past simple are the same, but we use the past perfect to show which one happened first. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
An example, I had already cooked the dinner by the time my mother came home.
By the time always talks about something happened before.
Yes.
By the time this happened, I had done something. So by the time is a keyword to when we see it. After it, we use the simple past, but before it, it should be
Past perfect.
Past perfect. Another example, when we arrived at the theater, the concert had already started.
Yeah. Now
Here,
here we should read, we should use the past perfect if it started before, because if we say when we arrived at the theater, the concert started, it means we arrived first and then the concert started.
Yes.
But since the concert started before, even if we mentioned it after when we arrived, the meaning is the concert had started before.
Before,
we arrived.
yes.
Thank you. Miss Sana.
Okay, here we have a comparison between for and since. We use generally we use the present perfect to talk about
Can
action.
we move next, lady, please?
Okay, next slide.
For and since.
Okay, we use present perfect to talk about actions and situations that started in the past and continue up to the present. We use for with a period of time or time expressions. And we use since with a specific date or time expression. For example, I've lived here for 14 years or for most of my life. I've done my gym since I was a child or since 1989. Now, we use the present perfect continuous to talk about actions that were in progress at a time in the past and are continuing in the present or have just recently finished. For example, why are you crying? I've just been watching a sad film. I've been looking after my neighbor's son all afternoon.
Actually, here we can also say when we have a present result that tells us about a past action, past activity, the past activity should be in the present perfect continuous tense. Yes. Next, Miss, please. Yeah, Mr. Sawan,
Yes.
future with
Now-
will or going to.
Yes, the use of future, will, going to, and shall. Use will to predict the future. Example here, the weather will get hotter, it won't get colder. Use will for actions that we decide now at the moment of speaking. Example, I'll make some tea. Use going to for actions that we have decided before we speak. I'm not going to watch TV tonight. I'm going to read a book. The last one for suggestions and offers. Use shall I or we, or I will, or I'll in abbreviated. Example here, shall I give you a lift to the station?
Can we move, lady? Yes, please. Just let me clarify something before I move to conditional sentences. Actually, we use will and going to for prediction and for intention. If we start with prediction, if we see something that helps us to predict the future, we use going to. We say it is going to rain.
It's cloudy.
He is going to crash. He is going to fall. We see something is going to. When we think, we use will.
Yes.
I think it will be hot this summer. I think,
Prediction,
I don't
yes.
see. So I predict the future for something I think. I'm not sure. For the intention, for plan or for decision to do something, if the decision is taken at the time of speaking, we use will.
I'll answer the phone.
I will answer the phone because the phone is ringing now. Someone is knocking at the door, I
I'll
will open. Someone dropped something, I will pick it up for you. Someone says, I don't have money, you say, I will give you. So the decision is clear. It is made at the time of speaking.
So it is immediate decision.
Yeah.
We can.
Going to is for planned
Planned before,
decisions.
yeah.
Something happened before now. In the sentence, the student will find something that tells him that this decision is taken before. Sometimes, if you see someone who has changed his clothes, wearing old clothes, carrying a bucket of water to wash his car, of course, he took the decision before and changed his clothes. So you say, he
He's
is
going to
going
wash
or
his car.
I'm going to wash the car. Now let's move to conditionals. Miss Aula, the floor
Okay.
is yours.
The conditionals in the ninth grade are the first conditional and the second conditional.
Yeah.
To start with the first one, we use if, present simple with will or want for things that will possibly happen. Examples, if the tickets are too expensive, we won't be able to go. If we have time, we'll go and see the counselor. We can use can, but we can put the if part at the beginning or by the end. And this way, the only change is going to be with the comma. So to start with, we can use it as if he doesn't feel well, he won't go to school, or he won't go to school if he doesn't feel well. And we can see when we don't start with if, we no need to use comma. We use the comma after if.
After, yes.
Yeah, we know.
And if
we
clause.
don't need, yes.
So in brief, it's present simple, simple future.
Yes.
I just want to add something. We
Please.
have zero conditional, which is not mentioned for grade 9. Zero conditional can go with if plus simple present, and the result with present simple. But this needs to be only with habits and facts, something that can happen frequently. The type 1 is for something, if happens one time, something will happen as a result. So it's not a habit, it's not
particular
always.
situation.
It's, particular situation. If something happens for one time, something will happen as a result. Type 2, Ms. Rula.
We use if with the past simple and would with the infinitive or wouldn't for imaginary situations.
Something not true. Imaginary means something not real.
True.
The time is now. It's not the past.
It is
Time
now.
is now, but the issue or the subject we are talking is imaginary one, not real. Since it's not real, we use unreal past. We use simple past with if.
An example, if you told me a secret, I wouldn't tell anyone.
If you told me a secret, I wouldn't tell anyone.
If I wanted to get fit, I would do regular exercise.
All this, actually, I'm not doing exercise, and actually, I don't want to be fit in this sentence. Maybe he is already fit.
We can put the if part or the would part of the sentence first. If I got some money for my birthday, I would save up for a new CD player. And we can write like that. I would save up for a new CD player if I got some money for my birthday.
So we can change, but we need to put comma,
a comma
if
after
we start
the
with
if part.
With the if clause.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Next, Miss, thank you. Mr. Sulwan.
Yes. The if conditionals also. Use if plus past simple, plus would or wouldn't, plus infinitive to talk about imagined situations in the present and the future. Example, if I studied harder in school, I would get better exam results. This is also something imagined. It's not real.
Yeah, not real.
Yes, not
because
real.
here, his marks, exam results were low.
Yes.
So he is maybe criticizing himself. If I studied harder in school, I would get.
Yes.
But the reality is he didn't get.
Yes,
good
exactly.
results.
Number 2, if he ate more fruit and vegetables, he wouldn't be so unhealthy. Also the same.
Yeah,
almost the same.
Yes,
kind of
it's-
advice.
Different
He
exercise.
is now unhealthy.
Yes.
If he ate more fruit, and vegetables, he wouldn't be so
Yes.
unhealthy. We can put
Yes,
if
we can
part,
put if part or the would part of the sentence first.
no problem.
Yes. If I had more free time, I would start learning the guitar, or you can shift. I would start learning the guitar if I had more free time. Also, a student pay attention here. They should put a comma if they start with the if clause in the initial position. The comma should be deleted if the student start with the result clause.
It shouldn't be deleted, but no need for it. If you put it, it's no problem.
Yes.
But usually, we delete
Yes.
it when if is in the middle.
Yes.
It's no problem. We just want to say something to the students. With conditional sentences type 2, verb to be, were, can be used with
all pronouns.
Instead of was.
Yes.
But if a student said, I was, it's correct. He was, I was, it was, she was, correct. But he can also, or she can put, I were,
I were.
it were, she were, like in the last sentence, if it were me,
I would
this is
ask.
kind of giving advice. If it were me, I would ask the teacher. If it were me, usually it is more frequently used to say, if I were you. But it's great to say, if it were me, as. Can we move next? We come to wish. Miss Sana, wish is opposite reality, right?
Yeah, sure. Now, we used I wish plus past perfect to talk about past
Or past
situation
simple.
that you wish had been different. For example, I wish I had studied more languages at school.
Actually,
but
I don't think in grade 9 they have past perfect.
They changed it. I think.
Yeah.
They should
in the
do
new
just
edition.
only
In the
past.
old edition, so now they only have simple past
Past.
after wish in grade 9. They don't have past perfect.
Okay, again, I only studied one. I wish I had known that you were ill. I would have come to see you. I
Let's
didn't
move the
know-
past perfect examples. I just want to summarize it for
I
the
wish
students.
I studied.
Opposite reality, I'm helping you. Sorry,
Okay.
I might interrupt.
Never mind.
Wish is opposite reality. Something now is something I don't want. I wish it was something different. What we advise the students easily, if they want to do it
After wish, we
easily,
have past.
simple past after wish, and if the sentence is negative, we make it positive.
The
If
opposite.
it is positive, make it negative.
Yes.
Stronger
They have to
ones
choose.
can use something opposite
Opposite.
reality. It's okay. I give example. I am short. I wish I wasn't short. Or I wish I was
taller.
taller.
Yes.
So it is up to the students. Good students can change, but we need opposite reality and go to the simple past when the sentence is in the simple present. So two things, to go to the past simple from the present and to
opposite
change
the
the
negative.
situation,
Yes.
something opposite reality. If you change it using not, okay. Changing using something different, it's okay. I will give another example. I am an engineer. I wish I was a doctor.
It's different. Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
different.
different meaning.
Or I wish I wasn't.
Wasn't.
I can change it anyway. Let's move, lady, to the passive
Before we
voice.
move, someone, they are asking for, again about if the texts are from the book. The texts are from the book. The texts are from the book.
We don't usually, until now, bring anything from out the book.
Okay, and a good student called Ahmad Sadiq, and I thank him because he's asking if he can write a paragraph from his imagination.
Of
Of course,
Yes, for sure.
please do.
This is what we're looking for.
Yes,
You are very nice.
By the way, let's just only comment about writing a paragraph. Unluckily, most students keep compositions by heart.
Unfortunately.
Yes, but I advise, let's say, my or all students to read as possible as they can passages.
Of course.
Yes, they at least read the passages that are in their books.
In the book, at least.
So the more they read, it means that the more they write.
They
So
know
can-
vocabulary, they know how to
yes,
write, the
exactly.
structure of sentences.
They know the style of writing. Yes.
So, of course, you can write from your imagination,
Yes.
and we
And this
thank
is
you for that.
exactly what is required for most students to
course,
write from their own words.
Of course.
Yeah, we hope all our teachers help the students to use their imagination.
And it is easy, not difficult.
Not to write ready-made composition
Yes,
to their
exactly.
students. We beg teachers not to write compositions and give them to the students. We beg them to teach these students how to write sentences to form a composition.
And how to write, let's say, how to start the paragraph, how to start with the topic sentence, with the body of the sentence, then the conclusion here. It is the easy,
Actually,
not difficult.
we need to change the mentality
Exactly.
of our people for this, because what they think is, even students usually ask the teachers, please write it to us. And the teachers respond, not all, but those who respond are wrong. Those who write composition and sell them in libraries are wrong. They are
And
not
some
not
of them
right.
have mistakes, actually.
A lot of mistakes are found in these compositions. This is one thing. Another thing, we read that students want us to speak Arabic, and we answer. You don't usually take your Arabic lessons in English, and we are taking English. Some may say, since it is exam, we always ask, always beg the teachers not to use Arabic in the classroom, because if they use Arabic in the classroom, the student will not understand English. If we use Arabic now, we are destroying ourselves. We want the teachers to do the best and to do the correct thing, not us to do the wrong because the teachers are doing it wrongly. Please forgive us. No Arabic is accepted because our subject is English, and you need to tell your teachers at schools to use English, not Arabic, so that you will be able in the future to use. Thanks for the teachers who use Arabic in teaching.
Of course.
And we apologize for those who say use Arabic.
And thank for the
We
students who are trying.
Yes, we
Yes.
are not Arabic teachers, we are English teachers. Thank you. Passive voice, Ms. Ula.
Okay, to start with the passive voice, of course, the keywords are verb to be and past participle. Use the present passive to talk about processes and facts. So when we have sentences that express process, so it's passive voice. Use it when the focus is on the action, not on who does it, not on the subject. So when it's a process, when we don't care about the doer or the subject, we use passive voice. Examples.
Sometimes the agent is not known.
It's not known. Sometimes it's not important, and sometimes it's unmentioned, not
Sometimes
mentioned.
we want to focus on the object.
On
On
the
the object, yes.
Examples. Every year, new technology is developed to warn people about possible diseases or disasters. Sorry. Walls are being built to keep the sea from flooding the village. We also use the passive with can to talk about possibility. If we want to express possibility, we use can, like storms can be predicted by satellites.
Yeah.
When it's important to say who did the action, we can use by. So
Yeah.
to mention the subject, we use by.
If the agent is
Is
something known, we need as students to mention it at the end preceded with by.
Because the focus is on the action, so we start with the action and we can write the agent by the end of the sentence. There has been an earthquake. People are being rescued by helicopters.
Here the agent is not important. Maybe the police.
The second one,
maybe,
helicopters, is
civil
important.
Helpers, civil defense. We don't know. We don't care because what we care for is that people are being rescued at the moment by a helicopter. By a helicopter, actually, here the agent usually is someone. With a helicopter,
We're
by
talking
someone.
about the people in the helicopter.
Yeah, if we focus on the people on the helicopter, it's okay. We continue with Ms. Sana. If you look at the screen, you
Okay.
can.
Passive voice. We use the passive voice to talk about progresses and facts in the past.
Processes and facts in the past.
We use it when the focus is on the action, not on who does it.
Yeah, the same as we said.
Oh.
Actually, let me summarize it. What we do, we take the object of the active sentence and we put it at the beginning. We take then the verb and we change it to verb 3. Between them,
Verb to be.
we use verb to be. In the simple present, we use am or is or are. In the simple past,
Was,
Was
was
or were.
or were. In the continuous tenses,
Is
Is,
being,
are being.
am being.
yes. In the past, was,
Was,
being,
were,
was,
were
were.
being.
and verb 3 is the same with all tenses.
Okay.
Yes.
The perfect present
Have
and
been
Have
perfect
been
has
or
past.
has been.
Has been.
After the verb to have, we put been and verb 3. The future
Will be or
will
can,
be,
is
yes.
going
can
to be.
must be,
Will be,
would
must be,
So we
yes.
use the auxiliary, the
Be.
model, and we put
Be.
be, then verb 3.
Yes.
Let's move next, Miss.
Someone is asking about how to form a question. We've said something about that, but we can repeat.
We went back, Miss. Sorry. Let's move to reported speech. Okay. Sorry.
How
Miss
to form a question.
How to form a question. Actually, when we teach grammar as teachers, in every tense, we have to change into a question. In the simple present, we say, do you, or does he. In the present continuous, is he, is she, are you. So, good students can change immediately. Weaker ones change the sentence to WH question word. For example, I am going to school. If I change this to a question, it will be, are you going to school? Then, if I want to ask about school, I
Where?
delete it, and school is a place, I put at the beginning where.
Where.
Yes,
Where
Where are you going? This is for weaker ones. To change to a question, weaker students can have 2 steps. First, to change the sentence to a question, yes, no question, then which one I'm going to ask about? If it is a time, I delete the time and use when. If it is someone,
Who?
I delete and use who. For example, I'm going to go to the cinema with my friend. Are you going to go to the cinema with your friend? If I'm going to ask about friend, I delete friend and say, who are you going to the cinema with?
Yes.
If I'm going to ask about the cinema place, where are you going to go with your friend? If we have time tomorrow, when are you going to the cinema with your friend? So we change to
The
yes,
same
no
sentence,
question.
we can ask many
Yeah,
questions.
we can change
Yes.
first the same sentence to yes, no question. Then we delete what we want to ask about and put instead of at the beginning
Question.
The
a
video
question
questions.
word that asks about it. People, who. Time, when. Place, where. Reason, why.
Yes.
And if we are going to ask about manner, how.
How
Number,
How many times?
how many.
How
times?
often?
Pose,
Yes.
why.
Quantity, uncountable, how much. Countable, how many.
How many, yes.
So we delete the answer or the thing we want to ask about, and we put a question word at the beginning.
So,
Report.
generally speaking, it's going to start with question word, when, what, where, etc. Auxiliary verb and subject. This is the general form.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's move to reported speech.
Okay, continue. Shall I
Miss,
continue? Yes. To report what someone said, we use say or said, change the verb. Present simple becomes past simple. For example, Fatima, I want to go skiing this winter. Fatima said
want to
that
go
she...
Skiing
Yes,
this
skiing,
winter.
sorry.
Winter.
Fatima said that she wanted to go skiing this winter.
That one.
That winter.
Yes, that winter.
Everything
sorry.
near becomes far.
No.
Yes.
And
Present-
we go when tense back.
When tense
Yes.
back, yes.
The present
Shift back.
simple becomes
Past
Past
simple, and the present continuous becomes past continuous. For example, Ali, we are having a picnic on a Friday. Ali said that they were having a picnic on Friday.
so we change the
Pronoun.
The
Pronouns, yes.
pronoun,
I
The
becomes he
tense.
or she.
the tense, and the possessive pronoun if we have it. We change
Time and place references.
time and place references. Everything near will be far.
Far.
Now becomes then.
Here,
Today, that day. Here,
Here, there.
there. This becomes
Tomorrow,
that.
then.
Tomorrow, the
Next
following
The
day.
following day, yes.
Yes. Can we move next, Miss? Yes. You said or told. Told needs an object. Said doesn't need. So when you say he told, it needs to have someone be told.
Object.
He told me, he told her, he
Yes.
told somebody. He
That's
said, no need to have an object. Miss Rula,
Okay, we use said or told to report what someone said to someone else. Samira, Ali, I'm sorry about what happened. Samira told Ali that she was sorry about what had happened
yeah, so here the speaker is Samira. She's speaking to Ali.
to Ali.
She said, I am. When we reported, we changed
We
I
changed the
am
pronoun
to she,
she.
and am became in the
past
past was. Samira told Ali
What
that
happened
she was
in
sorry.
the past,
She was
it
sorry.
becomes past perfect. What happened,
What had happened.
Samira said to Ali, we can say Samira said Ali.
Yes.
Samira said to Ali that she was sorry about what had happened.
So
Actually,
said to-
actually, in this exercise, when we have Ali, it's better to say told Ali
Told,
than
yes.
to
yes.
said to
it's
Ali.
better than said to.
Yeah, because usually said is used alone, but it's okay, no problem.
So when we mention the listener, we usually told.
Told.
Yes. When we don't mention the listener, we usually said.
We had an example with the sample we've done.
Yes.
In this chart, we have direct speech and we have reported speech.
Okay, in reported speech, the verbs change. Direct speech, the present simple, I always play tennis on Saturdays, said Ibrahim. In the reported speech, it becomes past simple. Ibrahim said that he always played tennis on Saturdays.
But I want just to clarify something. In the active sentence, notice we have quotation marks.
Yes.
When we have quotation marks, even if we write he said or Ibrahim said at the beginning, we don't change. When we have quotation marks, it means the exact sentence of the speaker. When we report it, we delete the quotation marks. So in the second, the first we have Brahim said, but we didn't change because we put the
We have
sentence
the
of
actual
Brahim
words.
in the inverted commas, which we call quotation marks. In the second, when we report and we go to the past, we don't use quotation marks. Brahim said he always played tennis on Saturdays. I always play became he always played tennis on Saturdays. No quotation marks because now it is reported. The present continuous.
The present continuous or can and can. We are going to the zoo, said Iman. You
Or-
can come with us. It becomes past continuous and can becomes could. Iman said that they were going to the zoo. She said that I could come with them. She said that we can say you becomes I.
Yes. Actually, it is the same. Same grammar can, same rule can be applied
Example.
here. That the main thing the students need to know, to go 1/10 back, the present needs to be in the past, and everything that says here should be far. In this sentence, you can come with us. Iman said that we were going to the zoo, and can becomes could. So can is a verb, model verb. It needs to go 1/10 back, which is in the
Yes.
past.
We
Next.
also change the pronouns. In report speech, the pronouns change.
I
I becomes he or she or
Correct.
it. We becomes they, you.
Actually, I can be it only with parrots.
We becomes they, you becomes I or we, me, him or her, us, them, you becomes me or us. In reported speech, that can be omitted after said. In reported speech, you can use said, that, or told, plus the pronoun me, you, etc.
Etc.
And that.
Okay, next, please. Again, we have direct, we mentioned this, today becomes that day, tomorrow, the next day, or the following day. Next
This,
week, month,
becomes
year
just-
becomes
Yeah,
the
there,
following
yes.
year.
Near becomes far.
Yes,
Yes.
Time and
this,
place references.
that, here, there. Can we move next?
We have exercise.
Exercises. I'm going, again, in the exam. This is harder than the exam, but we can
They
do
have to
it.
choose between brackets.
Yeah,
Yes.
only to choose between brackets. But here we can help them to do it. I'm going shopping this afternoon.
She
becomes
said she
She
was
was
She was
going
shopping.
going
that.
shopping.
that afternoon, yes.
I live here.
He said he lived
He lived there. Yes.
Yes.
Next week is the beginning of the summer holidays. I'm really excited. He said that the following
following
week
week
was
was-
the beginning of the summer holidays.
Yes.
He was
Was
really
really
excited.
Yes.
exactly.
I really like this shirt. She told me that she really liked that
Liked.
shirt.
Yes,
Really
liked.
Yeah.
Miss Sawan
Yes.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are starting a new project. The teacher told us the following day they were starting a new project.
Or they were starting
They
the
will-
following
yes.
project the following day. It's okay. Next, Miss. Used to
to
and
and
would.
would.
Yes.
This is grammar in the grade 9 textbooks. Actually, we use it to talk about frequent actions that were habits in the past,
But not anymore.
Miss Ruda,
Used to and would. We use used to, didn't, used to, and the infinitive to talk about
so when we
state.
use didn't, we delete the ed,
The ed,
and
yes.
we
It
keep
becomes
the
used to.
Used to.
And the infinitive to talk about states or repeated actions in the past. An example, I used to want to be a doctor, but now I want to be a teacher. Want is a state verb, it's not an action verb. We used to go on holiday every summer. Here we have a repeated action. We use would and the infinitive to talk about repeated habits in the past, not states. Every afternoon, my friends and I would talk for hours on the phone. after dinner, grandfather would sit and tell us all stories from long ago. Here we have the verbs talk and sit. They are action verbs, they are not states. So we use used to talk about with states and action verbs, but would with only
Only
action
action.
verbs.
If we summarize, used to can be used with state verbs and action verbs.
Yes.
Would is used only with
Action.
action verbs.
Yes.
In the exam, students are
Used
going
to.
to choose one, and they are not going to have problem with choosing. But for
Used to
them,
always.
for me,
Always
if
used to.
it were me, I would use used to with all verbs.
Yeah, because
Without
state
thinking.
and action verbs.
Here is kind of exam sample. Circle the correct verb. I didn't.
Sometimes we
I-
can choose both, and other times we can only
Yes,
choose
it's
used
the
to.
verb is
this
after
is from the
verb.
book. So, in sorry, I said exercise sample. It's not exam sample because in the exam you are not going to have two correct choices, only one wrong and one correct to choose. But this exercise is from the book, so that you know which one can take both. Those who can take both are state and active verbs can go with used to, and used to can take state and
The
active,
active verbs
yes.
would
But
only
would
with
can be
only
used with
action.
action.
action verbs.
So
Some
here,
cases we
either we
have
say both are accepted or
Or only used to.
In the first example, we have only one choice.
Yes, exactly, because live
because
here-
we have didn't.
State verb.
Yes.
Because
Yes, for
it's
sure.
leave. Leave
We
is a
can
state
say
verb.
Yes,
didn't
that verb
to
and because of
put-
the didn't, yes.
So it's only used to. The
Yes.
first one is
Yes.
only
They
used
have
to.
to pay attention to that.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
In the negative.
You are a smart student to notice this. Yeah, good. Let's move next, Miss.
Before we move on,
You have a question?
Ahmed is following us.
The same
Ahmed, yeah.
person?
He asked about how to revise. It's a difficult question to be answered in a webinar, but the next one is about the literature spot.
Reading.
Yes, it's
The last,
optional. It's optional, so they won't
The
have.
last story in the book.
Their
Stories
story.
it is written in the book optional.
Yes.
So he is not going to be asked.
Not going to be. So you don't need, when you finish the exam, you can read the story.
But I think it is very important for writing.
now. Now they
Not
don't have
now,
time.
But it is important for a student just only
Of
to
course.
read and for writing compositions and
Of course,
paragraphs.
absolutely. But because they have limited time now, when
Yes.
they finish the exam, they can.
But usually concerning good students, most good students read
Yeah.
stories.
Next, please.
Could and
Be able
Able
to.
to.
Actually, in reality, no difference between using them and in the exam.
Good
you're not
general
going to choose.
ability.
Yes, able to usually specific situations,
specific
usually yes,
situation.
specific.
But
Yeah,
good general
always.
ability.
General
Always, yeah,
ability
general, yes.
was
In
able in
particular
a
occasions,
specific
Yes.
situation.
And sometimes we can say could is followed by some verbs like hear, like see, like feel, taste. These verbs are very important for a student to
Speak
check. Yes.
English,
This
for
can
example.
help.
Could see, could hear, could feel. Yes.
In the end, in speech, in life, even if the student used could with
Or able
all,
to.
it is accepted.
Yes.
But just to tell the student that we have something for a specific situation,
Yes.
we use able to, and for general ability, we use could.
Could.
And in the exam, he's not going to face a problem in choosing because the answer to be
Either or,
chosen
no?
is very clear, and he is not going to have two correct choices to choose one. Either correct or wrong, and he needs to choose the correct option. Let's move on. Yes, again,
Most of them the same.
the
The
same.
same, yes.
Again, next, please.
With have, must, and should. Some students have
Yeah.
difficulties.
Have to and must and should. We need to talk about them in brief, I think.
We usually use have to with rules and laws.
Yes. Let's
not- it's
discuss
more-
it,
Okay.
and everyone can say what he has to help the students about have to and must. Then we summarize.
Okay, let's.
Let's
Can I
start with
start?
have
Can
to,
I start
of
something?
course.
Okay, now concerning have to or must, let's start with must.
Yeah,
Must.
must is the beginning gets
yes, the
stronger.
beginning usually is stronger. So it is used for a strong obligation. I try to summarize it in a nutshell. Must is used for something personal. Yes, something personal.
More personal.
Yeah, personal. A doctor usually say to his patient, he writes him prescription. He says to him, you must take medicine on time, because this is something personal for a doctor. Or even another example,
Teachers to student,
teachers to students,
mother to
you
father to
must,
his,
yes, you
son.
must do your homework.
So higher,
Father,
higher
yes, exactly.
authority.
This is personal. Father, parents usually say to their children, you must come back home on time.
And sometimes obligation from inside. I must remember my
Yes.
mother's birthday.
Yes,
for
exactly.
example.
Now, this is must. And have to is something impersonal. In impersonal, it means that I have to apply to something that has
And not
been
only
said
you,
to me.
sometimes it's not only you.
Yes, like I say, I have to take medicine on time because the teacher obliged me to take medicine on
The
time.
doctor.
And I have to do, another example, I have to do my homework because this is my duty according to my teacher.
As a
because
student, and all students have to do their homework.
Exactly. Or students have to wear uniforms.
Again, this is a
in
rule
schools.
of the
It's
school.
a rule, yes. Or I have to come back home on time. Also, this is something impersonal.
Exactly.
Now, should here, the last one,
Advice.
it is advised.
Sport.
Yes, advise student, like,
Study hard.
yes, you should study hard.
You may
or
not take
what
the
should
advice, but-
what should I do
Yes.
here
Yeah.
to give
So
advice?
if I summarize,
Yes.
must is used with someone who has the power, the
Yes.
authority. Like you said, a doctor to the patient, a
Yes.
father to his
Son
children,
or
A
the
teacher to a
a
student.
teacher
Yeah.
to the student, he can use must.
Exactly.
You must do your homework, you must stay home, you must be in bed, doctor to the patient. If you want to retell someone else's order or general rule, we use have to. If it is a general rule in a school to wear a uniform, you don't tell your friend or your mate, you must wear a uniform, so you have to wear. So must is said by someone who has authority or power on someone else. Have to is to talk about general rule or to retell someone else's order, and both must and have to are obligatory issues. So the listener needs to be obliged to accept to do it. Should kind of advice, and the listener can do or not do it. So this never in speech in life for our students. If you use must to someone who you don't have authority on him or her, the other person will get angry. So must is used only with someone that has authority. Have to re-say the words of someone who has the authority, and should to give advice. I think we have exercise here, but let's move. Next, lady. Next.
Question tag.
Can we move question tags? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. The question tag is something important. We use it either to make sure something is correct or not, or sometimes we don't know the answer at all and we want someone else
To ask
to
for
correct it.
information.
Ask for something to check
Yes.
information,
Yes.
to make question. And about this one, it can be match for the ones who ask about the match question.
Yeah. So the question tag can be used in the matching
match.
exercise. Actually, we use the same auxiliary in the question tag, but we change the negative to positive.
positive and the positive to negative.
If we don't have an
An
auxiliary,
Do, does, did,
With
we
the
use
present
do, does in
do.
the present.
based on the
and
tense of the
We
tense.
have examples, Ms. Rula, if you have a look at them.
You are English, aren't you? You will help me,
So you are is the auxiliary. We use the same auxiliary, are.
but we
put
make it
not.
negative.
And the question tag should be
We invert.
contracted.
Yes,
You cannot say are not you. Aren't you?
Yes.
aren't you? You will help me, won't you?
Want is the contraction of will not.
Yes. It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Yes.
A negative question.
They didn't do their
They
homework.
didn't do
We
their
make it
homework,
positive.
did they? We make the negative
Positive.
positive. You couldn't help me with this heavy box, could you? He can't drive yet, can he?
Can he? Next, miss. Let's move next again. Here we have an exercise with the questions in
Questions.
red color.
Yes.
Miss Sana, can
Yeah,
you
number
have a look?
one. They've already been to Kuwait, haven't they?
Because they've is the contraction of have, so haven't they?
Yeah. Haven't they? You are the new teacher, aren't you?
Aren't you?
Yeah. Number 3, you don't think someone stole your new bike, do
Do
you?
you?
Because we have
Do, yes.
negative, we make it. Okay, number 4, you didn't bring your coat, did you? Number 5, your little sister has eaten all the biscuits, hasn't she? Number 6, this weather is awful, isn't it? Number 7, I can't do everything, can I? Number 8, he is Syrian, isn't he?
I wish we had some questions in the positive without auxiliaries like I speak fast.
Okay.
Do I?
Do
Do
I?
I?
Yeah.
And
Or with I. Aren't you?
yeah, okay. Too much and too many. This is again in the grade 9. We use too much with
Uncountable nouns.
uncountable nouns. Too many.
Yes, for
Countable.
countable
Countable
nouns.
nouns.
Too
We
few
use-
also for countable nouns. Yes. More,
more,
enough. Yes.
For comparative
Comparative. Yes. Enough for
situation.
something. Yes.
Enough is used
To say something that is not.
before an adjective,
Yes.
but after a noun. Enough is before an adjective,
After.
After.
after a
yes.
noun. So we say we don't have chairs enough.
We need enough chairs.
We need enough
Enough,
chairs.
Yes.
Okay, we can say it.
But it is not big enough.
Not big enough.
Am I saying it the opposite? Maybe. Maybe I made a mistake. So it is after the
nouns,
before nouns.
and after
Thank you so
confusing.
much. I confess. Yes, before
Before nouns.
Before
and
nouns, after adjectives. Okay.
Usually we have it with negative.
We don't have enough chairs, and I am not tall enough to reach the ceiling. Yes.
So the setting is
After the adjective,
Before,
before
nouns and after
nouns.
adjectives.
Miss Sana, if you would like to read something from
For
the...
countable.
Okay.
The
For
examples.
countable nouns, we use too many or too few plus noun. For example, there are too many cars on the road. Too few people use bicycles or walk. For uncountable nouns, we use too much plus noun. For example, there is too much
pollution.
pollution in cities these days. Now, we use more or enough before the noun to describe quantity or number. For example, we don't need more roads. We've got enough roads.
We've got enough roads.
We use too plus adjective or not plus adjective plus enough to describe nouns. For example, the pavements are too narrow. They aren't wide enough.
Next, lady. The articles.
Yes.
We're running out of time. Let's summarize.
So-
The is used when we have only one thing in the world
The
or
sun.
in the place. When it is, can you help me?
Yes, for sure. First, we use the, let's start with the indefinite article. It's very easy. Then we go back to the definite article. We use the indefinite article when we talk about a noun which is indefinite. Let's example here. Someone has a car. It
One in
is-
many.
Yes, one. Yes, one in for many cars, for example. So we use here indefinite article. He has a car, just only one car for many cars. We use an for the same, for an, but the noun should start with the one of the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Like we say,
An apple.
he eats an
An
apple.
umbrella.
Yes, he has an umbrella. Or it is an ink pot. He
must be
eats
singular
an
countable
egg. Yes, yes. Either let's say a or and for singular
Countable
countable
nouns.
nouns. Exactly.
Mentioned for the
Yes.
first time.
The first time.
Now let's move to the definite article. We use the definite article when we talk about definite noun. Example here, when we have one place or one thing. His mother is in the kitchen because usually the house or any
One
house
kitchen has
consists
only
of
one
one
kitchen.
house. Yes, one place of cooking, it is a house. So we say she is in the kitchen. The second usage of the definite article, we use the for the noun that has been mentioned.
Before.
Next.
Yes,
the
it is the
second
second time. When we say he has a car,
The
the
car.
car is red.
Yeah.
So it means that this car is red. So I'm talking about the car that belongs to him. Not all cars are red. The third usage of...
Superlatives. With
Yes, exactly. So we use the definite article for
The
unique
oldest,
names,
the most.
unique names like the king, the president, the vice president, the minister, the sun,
the sky.
the moon. Yes, these are related to unique names.
There is only one,
Yes.
either in the universe or in the
yes,
country.
exactly.
We
or
can
in the
add a
place.
phrase to make something.
Yeah, we use that also for
Yes, when
places.
we add a phrase or a sentence to an indefinite noun, we make it clearer,
Yes.
so we use that. Let me thank you, Mr. Sulwan.
So we have lots of usages.
Yeah,
So,
we just have
Yes,
2
sir.
minutes to finish.
Okay.
I'm going to summarize the definite pronoun. The is used with a noun which is the only noun in the universe, or we add something to it to make it clearer, or when it is mentioned a second time so it is clear. For the students, he can put the before the noun and read the sentence. If the listener will accept and it's clear for the listener, the is correct. If the listener would say which one, so the is not correct to be used. So we need to use the when the listener will know, because there is only one, or because we added a sentence to make it clear, or because it is mentioned a second time, or it is with the musical instruments after the verb play. So we made it clear to the listener, so we can use it this way. The indefinite, as Mr. Rula said, we use a and an with singular, countable
nouns.
indefinite nouns. When they are mentioned for the first time,
time.
and there are more than one of the same noun. At the end of this session, we apologize to those who said speak Arabic. We are not Arabic teachers. We are English teachers. And we are working on making the teachers in schools to use English, not Arabic, so that we stop having this sentence in the future, speak Arabic. We need all the students in Syria to understand English in English, and forgive us if we say one Arabic word. A lot of teachers would say, you used it and we're going to keep using Arabic. We are not going to use Arabic, and we are pushing teachers not to use Arabic from grade 1 to grade 12. And in this way, you will be able to understand English. But if we keep using Arabic in our schools, in our classes, the same problem will continue. Thank you. Please accept our apology. We thoroughly apologize to you, but it is
The
kind
right
of
thing to do.
doctrine, a principle. Thank you so much for being with us. I thank Ms. Ula
Thank you so
Al-Mouai,
much.
English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate, Ms. Rula Bitar, English Language Teacher,
Thank you.
Latakia Directorate, Mr. Nazir Sulwan, it's a long name, International Cooperation Commission,
English Language Training Center.
Training Center,
Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Sana Ismail,
Thank you.
English Language Teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate, our boss in the platform, Dr. Darren Tabba, Director of the NCCD, Mr. Mahmoud Hamid, thanks to him, the Director of the platform. Big thanks to our brave Minister, Mr. Imad Al-Azab, and we thank all the efforts he is doing. And from me, many thanks, Abdul Majid Ogharli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. Thank you and
Thank
wish you good luck. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.